Hey, this is Mad Hatter, and today what we're going to do is show you how we got this duck from on Thingiverse into this world and then painted so it looks like it does before. Yes, I know he's derpy, but I wanted something and this is what I found, so let's get into it. This is going to use some tools that I made and some tools that Bud made, but it is genuinely one of the most fun things to do in Minecraft, in my opinion. It is just a blast. Let's get into it. So first thing that you're going to need to do is find a model. I found one on Thingiverse. This is a duck. And what we're going to do is download the file for it. It has to be an STL file. There are many ways to convert between file formats for 3D printing, but STL works great. I found this one on Thingiverse. There's also Umagine, Yagi, and Printables to find files. You take your look wherever you want. So I'm going to go click on files. I'm going to download the cowboy_duck-3 STL. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Structura Lab. We'll go to the home page for a second. I'm going to click on Tools, and I'm going to click on Model to Minecraft. Now here, you can set your size and your rotation and choose a file. We're just going to start off by choosing a file, the cowboy duck, and I'm going to leave it at 50 blocks. And I'm going to hit submit. It's going to take a couple seconds. And then it says complete, and I can hit download structure file. You're going to see I have a whole pile of them downloaded because I was testing prior to this video coming out. I'm going to give myself a structure block. If you're on Android, you're going to have to download the structure block unlock pack, which is also on Structura Lab. But on iOS or on consoles, you don't have that option. And I'm sorry, this doesn't work for those yet. I'm going to hit load, and you're going to have an import button. We're going to click import. I'm going to choose Cowboy Duck 7. Hit import, and I'm going to hit load. So this duck, it's the wrong way around. He's facing the ground. That's not what I want. I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to come in from the negative side to the positive side on the axis I want to rotate. So I want to rotate the duck about that gold block. And I want to rotate him so that he's sitting upright. It rotates clockwise. So if I look here, if I rotated it 90 degrees, he'd be on his hat because his head would come down. 180 would be the opposite direction. And 270 degrees would be hat right up and down the way I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the website. Now that we're back at the website, we're going to click make new file. We're going to choose file and choose Cowboy Duck again. And we were saying that we wanted to rotate it 270 degrees along the x-axis. Now, when I hit submit, it's going to make the files again. It has to make it all from scratch, but that is fine. And then I'm going to download this file. Now I have this duck that's wrong in my world, and I don't want him here. I'm going to go grab a copy of that structure block. Really, what I want to know is what are the dimensions here, the 31, 41, 50. I'm going to go off to a spot where there's air, and I'm going to make sure I save. And it should be 31, 41, 50, but I'm going to name this air. Hit save, close this, and now I'm going to load. I'm going to load air, and that should delete the duck. And then I'm going to go import. I'm going to import that new file, the one that is rotated correctly, and hit load. I'm going to delete the structure block because we don't need a lot of structure blocks around. Awesome. So that is the duck that I need, the duck the way I want. So that is step one. We now have this duck in our world. This duck could be anything. It could be a ship. It could be a castle. It could be any 3D model that you find or dream of and make. It will come in. The next thing that we're going to do is use Bud's pack. So where you get that, so you come here, you go to tools, and you click Bud's painting pack. You're going to scroll down and you're going to find a lot of releases. You're going to find the first release and you're going to hit download MC pack and install the pack however you do it on your device. On my device, I just double click. So if that doesn't work for you, I'm not going to be much help. I already have that pack attached to this world just to make things go faster. It looks like this, the paint fill 0.0.5. Now I need to give myself a tag. That is tag at s add paint. I already have that tag because I made that duck here earlier. But now the way that this is going to work is when you put a block in your first spot, that's what you're going to paint. When you put a block in your second spot, that's what you're going to paint on. And I'm going to start with snowballs. There's other things you can use, but when I throw the snowball, you can see the iron blocks, which are in slot 2, became purple wool. If I throw this over here, or if I throw it at that duck, it doesn't do anything because the duck is not made out of iron. This is used to protect your build so that way you can paint specific sections. So let me paint this hat. And by the way, I think this is the most fun thing you can do from like a creative perspective, is to have one of these giant models and just paint. Okay, so now we have the hat done. Now what I want to do is I actually want to paint it with yellow concrete on the iron blocks. Right? And I go do the exact same thing. Now, let's say that you're in a spot where you want to paint things, but you want to be really careful. You can use the brush for that. So if I want to convert this purple wool into yellow concrete, because this is not what I want it to look like, all I do is right click on those blocks and it will come through and fix up the single block that you want without having to break and replace. And this allows you to get some nice fine control over what you're doing. And now, because this is an iron block versus wool, I can go back to just spamming snowballs. And you can switch pretty quickly between materials and tools just in the normal way you play Minecraft, which makes this pack pretty wonderful to use. It also isn't just replacing everything. So like if you use the replace feature in the commands, that can get really kind of crazy when it when you're actually trying to paint something big like this, because you might end up ruining your entire model and having to start from scratch. Okay, we have a basic rubber duck with a nice little hat on it. Let's now put in a little bit of details, because the details are what matters for some of the big builds like this. So the first thing that we're going to do is come in and break out some blocks that I don't want around, and then convert in some teeth, you know, or some white spot for his mouth. We're gonna go put in some eyes, and then we're going to color the eyes. Let's do a derpy duck, just like that. And you can see how we get to where we're at. And this one, we can come in and just clean that one up really quick with a little bit of a brush there. Maybe that one and that one need to get cleaned up too. But there we go, we got a derpy duck. And you can always come in and add blocks and fiddle with things and break them, but this was a pretty quick project, and you can see it did not take me more than 20 minutes to start from start to scratch to get this design built. I know you can do it in about the same amount of time. So if you do this, how about you jump in my Discord and show me a picture? I know Bud hangs out there and he would really appreciate seeing that his tool gets used for doing fun things like this. I know I love it. I know other people's love it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, how about you drop a subscribe? And if you really like the video, like the video. Otherwise, I will see you next time. This is Hatter. Bye.